What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilg, and as promised, we are back with the final rendition of Grand War, and today is the day. Now, as you can see, we already S-cleared this. This team is vetted, this team is known. I actually had a different team I was going to show you yesterday, but then on stream, we actually refined this team quite a bit. This team is pretty wild. Now, the main thing you want to pay attention to when you're building a team here. Now, obviously, I have Haruhime and Finn on the front of the team, and those units need no introduction. Now, the one thing I forgot about Finn, and big shout out to everyone on the stream, Finn already does a strength and magic buff, so we don't really necessarily need to pay attention to the magic buff, and I'll explain why here in a moment. But, well, actually, to explain it, let's go ahead and, well, let's talk about Ryu first. Ryu has a great place on this team because Ryu can basically spam her strongest attack. Her SA isn't even her strongest attack. Her third skill is. And because of what she does here with her third skill, she is absolutely incredible. And we will be able to beat this in as few as 10, maybe even 9 turns. Now, to be honest, this Hephaestus is kind of failing me a little bit. If I had her max limit broken, 9 turns might be within the realm of possibility. You'll see why I say that here at the end of the match. But we have the Osvi attached to Ryu. The new Ryu, mind you, this Ryu wasn't around when this event actually ran, so this is even an improvement on what we could have done 6 months ago. But we have the Osvi attached to her that does single target damage, because improving her single target damage is going to be amazing for our run. Now, we have Otarl in the second slot. Ryu's obviously going to be fighting Zard, but Otarl here, he is going to be fighting Althea, and this is why I say your assists matter a whole lot. We're going to be using his SA to finish off Althea a little bit faster. Now, he gets 35% per each self strength and earth attack damage buff. That's basically, if you have a strength and an earth buff, that's 70%. You get that twice over, that's 140%. That's pretty wicked. Now, here's where this gets really insane. Now, I do have a strength buff on him. Obviously, Finn gives him a 10% strength buff. And the free-to-play Apollo gives us an earth buff. So we're going to have both buffs. Now, the best part about this, Apollo also does physical and magic resistance down. Now, we did also drop physical resistance with this Ares a little bit more. And that's just to get a tiny bit more... tiny bit of extra damage out, so to speak. But, you know, it's debatable whether Apollo would be better on this team, or if I should move Osvi to Otarl and use Hephaestus. But as you'll see at the end of the match, it's 6. We're going to wreck this so bad, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. It really ultimately doesn't matter a huge amount. Now, the new Filvis. New Filvis is amazing, because the new Filvis will allow us to... reduce physical, magic, and water attack damage. Now, we will need to debuff water because, obviously, Zard would be better attacked by fire than water, but water is his secondary choice, and frankly, I don't think the fire team has some units that can keep up with this. So I think water right now is OP, so water is what we're going to use. And debuffing that is just going to allow us to get a little bit more damage out a little bit faster. Now, Winnie. Interesting choice here. Now, originally, I was using 2 units to do the same thing, and some of you guys brought up the fact that Winnie basically is just a beast. Her skill 2 will reduce all-in single-target damage while also reducing critical and penetration rate. I was using 2 units to do this. I forgot entirely she had that attachment to her skill, so she's like the perfect unit for this. Now, obviously, Filvis and Winnie are going to come in. Filvis is going to come in turn 1 and then leave. She's going to bring the Hestia with her that drops damage an extra 20%. So while we debuff with Haruhime, we're also going to have this debuff with the assist side too. Winnie's going to pop in turn 2. That's when she's going to bring Apollo. She's going to do her big debuff. And then Ryu is going to come in part 3. Now, Ryu, if you pay attention to her SA, needs not a magic buff, she needs a water buff. Though a magic buff would help her do a little bit of extra damage, I've got this Hephaestus here. Now, I wish I had her max limit broken, because she'd be magic 20%, fire and water attack damage 15%. Unfortunately, she's only 15% magic and 10% water. So that is going to reduce our ability to produce some damage. But like I said, instead of being 9 turns of the 12 needed, it's going to be 10 turns of the 12 needed. So first world problems much. Let's go ahead and get into this. With Haruhime, we're going to go ahead and debuff. We're going to go ahead and buff with both Otarl and Ryu. Now, you want to make sure that with Otarl, you're targeting Althea. The natural target is Zard. So make sure at all times you're targeting Althea with Otarl. It's very, very, very important, especially on turn 2. And then we're going to do skill 2, which is a big debuff with Filvis. Let's go. Now, as far as outfitting your units go, obviously you want the best weapons on everybody so they do the most damage. And I've actually outfitted everybody's weapon is ascended, so yes, we are getting a bit of extra damage. This is a whale team. It is a thing. Now, as far as armor goes, eyes. There's no eyes in this team. What am I talking about? Haruhime and Otarl are both running taunt anklets. They have to. If they don't, you're going to ruin this run. And Otarl will only be fighting Zard, which is completely out of his wheelhouse. And Haruhime won't be able to do her heals or her MP regen. So you have to have taunt anklets on those two. No choice. Or a taunt assist, but if you're building this team, you got taunt anklets. You need taunt anklets on them. Swap anklets then obviously, or swap amulets, go obviously on Winnie and Filvis. Now, there's 2 ways to do this. With Ryu and Riveria, I was doing breastplates for the longest, but somebody brought up a really good idea. Holy Coats will actually decrease the amount of damage that Zard and Althea, it's very late, are doing. So debuffing that is going to be absolutely critical because they already debuff our resistance and buff their light attack damage. So Holy Coats on those 2 really are the best. You don't have to worry about taunts because you always want them targeting Zard anyway. So just double check every time and make sure they're targeting Zard, but yeah, that's our goal. So on this turn, we're going to go and do Yosuga. We're going to do that for the heals. And I'm going to go ahead and do the 45% debuff attacking Zard. And Otarl, I'm going to do Obliterate and target Althea. So double checking here, Althea and Zard. Althea is targeted by Otarl. Zard is targeted by Ryu. And we're going to do skill 2 once again with Winnie. I already explained why. It's a fantastic skill. It's really going to come in clutch. And, you know, like I said, this is just a great team. Now, Winnie almost died there. And I'm going to be honest with you. This is cumulative. So even if you do build this team and one of your units dies, oh well, rerun it. If you don't even get the 12-turn finish, which with this team, you'd be hard-pressed to fail that. If you don't get the 12-turn finish, that's fine on the second one because everything's cumulative. Basically, if you see the stars at the front, all you need to do is finish it, not lose a character. So finishing it will give you a B clear. Not losing a character or finishing it in 12 turns will give you an A clear. Then if you actually go back and rerun it and complete either one of the other tasks, you'll get a cumulative S clear. You don't have to S clear it in one run. You could do multiple runs if you're having some problems. RNG is a problem on these teams, so it's an option, okay? So we've got all our debuffs out of the way. We can now do some damage. So I'm going to go ahead and keep healing with Haruhime. Ryu is going to target Zard, and Otarl is going to target Althea. So just double checking, because if the taunts come in and go and all that stuff, it's actually going to mess up your targeting. So make sure that Ryu is targeting Zard and Otarl is targeting Althea. Check it. We're going to check it every single turn. Now, on this turn, Riveria, she has to do her 100% SA gauge charge. You need that. You need as much SA as humanly possible. So she's going to come in out of the gate and do that. Also targeting Zard. So here we go. Bam. Not overly worried. We will need to survive turns 3 and 4, though we have extremely good chances of that. They would have to come out of the gate with some craziness for us not to do it. Not to say they can't. It's happened, but it's pretty rare. All right. Good hit from Zard, but Notice no crits, no penetration. We're good to go. So I'm going to continue to heal with Haruhime. Now, turn 4 is a... we're going to get debuffed. Now, one thing I did learn. Initially, I actually was afraid of using this buff with a fast attack, because oftentimes fast attacks, as you'll notice here with Reveria, this is a fast attack that gives her the 100% SA gauge increase. So we're going to have to go down here and do this. But we can actually do reuse, and the difference being is because the buff skills will actually take place before attack skills. So if you ever want to see what's going to affect faster, a buff skill will always affect faster than an attack skill. So in this case, even though this is a fast attack, because it is an attack, it will take place after the debuff occurs. Now, Reveria, on the other hand, I can't do skill 1. I've got to do skill 3 on this one to really get her buff going. Otaro, we're just going to do skill 1, and for Ryu, we're going to do skill 1. And if you really want proof of what I said, keep an eye on these units, okay? Bam. So notice all those buffs that Ryu did came in after the debuff. Now, Reveria's would have beat the debuff, so that's why I say you really got to make sure that you're paying close attention to your turn order here. If you want to beat this in time, you got to be really, really smart about that. Please no real... okay, great, perfect. That's actually great. Anybody in the inside that gets penetrated really shouldn't be too badly hurt. Ryu is a little scary here, but hopefully Haruhime will get her heal off in time. Reveria is the one I'm really mostly worried about, because everybody else kind of has had time to debuff and buff and worry about all that. Reveria is the one that's kind of hanging out here on the end, and she has a lower level assist, so I'm slightly concerned about her. Now, in this turn, I'm going to do Yosuga to try to get a little bit of healing. I am slightly worried about Ryu, but that's fine. We're just going to go back to doing Ryu's big attack. We're going to go back to doing Otaro's big attack. Let's just make sure. Yep, they're still targeting. Ryu's targeting Zard, and Otaro's targeting Althea. And I'm going to go back and do skill 1 with Reveria, because remember, we buffed magic and we buffed dex, but her skill 1 actually buffs her SA gauge charge, which notice we're missing, and this is very important, buffs her water attack damage, which is what she needs for her SA. So we're going to basically do, on the debuff turn 4, we're going to do her skill 2. On turn 5, after the debuff, we're going to do skill 1, because remember, this is not an attack. It's fast, but it's not an attack. So this would actually precede the debuff. So that's very bad. We want to keep that back in play. So skill 3, skill 3, skill 3, skill 1. Let's go. And we're really hoping that Haruhime gets her heal out here. If she don't, we're in trouble. Go, Haruhime, go! Girl! Yes, okay, good. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Whew! Gotta be careful. RNG can make this a nightmare. But thus far, it looks like we're doing pretty well. Basically, after this turn, I'm really not sweating. Turn 6 is about the turning point where everything becomes pretty easy. Now, I am getting low on MP, so I'm going to have to use Sheikah to restore Haruhime's MP. I can just continue spamming skill 3 with Ryu and Otaro. They're still good. They're targeting the right people. And I can now do skill 2, which is Reveria's big hit. So let's go. Now, this is, like I said, the big turning point. So long as we don't take insane damage here, which we shouldn't, we should be free and clear for the turn 10 kill. Now, turn 9 would be my preference, but I don't think we're going to pull it off. Like I said, that final assist on the team really just kind of lacks a hair of power that we really need to make this happen. So let's keep going. We're gonna do do Yosuga on turn 7, because turn 7 is another debuff. Remember? Now that means we can do skill 1 with both Otaro and with Ryu. They're gonna be good. Basically, if you want to test my theory on how these buffs work, watch here. Ryu's actually, there's gonna be the big wind attack is going to come in early, then Ryu is going to do her skill. So watch when gathering, what is it called? Gathering Sleet. Watch when that actually happens, because it's going to follow up the debuff. Whereas if I did Frozen Orb with Reveria, it would actually precede the debuff. So we want to go ahead and do her skill 3 again to rebuff her. Now, one thing you will want to notice here is that Frozen Orb is an attack that gives us a secondary attack, as is the skill 1 Mountain Drill with Otarl. So we're always getting double attacks with these two units. If your units aren't quite strong enough and they're going late game, always double check and make sure they're getting their secondary attacks, because that's going to be the difference in an entire turn or more. It could make or break your run. So you want to be very, very, very cautious about that. All right. So we're going to do Yosuga. We're going to do Gathering Sleet. We're going to do Mountain Drill. And we're going to do Diamond Lance. Let's go. All right. Perfect. Now, there's Gathering Sleet. That's our buff for Ryu. There's Mountain Drill. That's our buff for Otarl. And Diamond Lance. That's our buff for Reveria. Now, we are going to get attacked here. It ain't going to feel too nice. But aside, it is all right. Not worried about it. Boom. Because, basically, all the wind is out of his sails. He's got no power at this point. There, you have no power here, Zard. Now, normally I would say go ahead and SA on this turn, but remember, we don't SA with Ryu, so we're going to do skill 3 with Ryu, skill 3 with Otarl. We need the water damage buff, because remember her SA requires water damage buff, so we need this water damage buff to finish off these units. We need it for the kill. So, we're going to do skill 3 across the board, except for Reveria, who's going to do skill 1. Bam. Here we go. Now, notice everybody's pretty much, their health's just falling off now. Everything's falling apart for these units. And this is what we want to see. Okay? Now, turn 9 is a double SA. We are going to SA, or I'm sorry, triple SA. We're going to SA with Haruhime, get that 100% buff out. We're going to SA with Otarl. We're going to basically finish off Althea with him. And we're going to SA with Reveria. We don't SA with Ryu, because remember, Ryu's SA, well, frankly, it's crap. And even if we did hit with it, their hits are just stronger. You know, Otarl and Reveria are just going to be stronger and hit better against these foes. So, SA, skill 3, SA, SA, making sure that Otarl is targeting Althea, Reveria is targeting Zard. Let's do this now. Now remember, Haruhime gives us 100% strength and magic buff. So that's good times. Now, some of y'all might be asking why not attack with Ryu and get the extra 25%. It's really actually only a 5% buff on the single target damage. Not enough to eke this out. The 100% strength and magic buff is actually going to do significantly more here. Go, Otarl. But you'll notice Otarl is just shy of the kill. Boom. I don't think CP items are gonna bring that out either. I think I'd have to do something a little more aggressive with the team, and I don't know if I have that in my build, unfortunately. But I actually do know what I could do. I don't think I have the gumption to try to pull that off, because that would be rather insane to pull off. But here we go. Notice everybody's just about dead. I mean, they're clinging to life. Clinging to life. And Althea's going to get her SA. I would have preferred to end it here. Turn 9 kill would have been amazing. Remember, turn 12 is the S clear, but we're going to have to go one more turn. It really sucks. I wish upon wish we had had one more SA, but it is what it is. Okay? So we're going to do everybody's big hit. Skill 3 across the board with the exception of Reveria, because remember, her skill 2 is her biggest. And this is the end. Should be, at least. How did that not What? Okay, that's total RNG. Anyway, of course it didn't when you're recording. I talked about this on stream last night, but whenever you're recording, it's like worst possible scenario. Still, it's a turn 11 kill. I mean, that's the win. Turn 10 was the average. I don't know what Otaro was doing there. Maybe he didn't target Althea. I wasn't paying a huge amount of attention because I tuned out thinking that was an instant kill. That's really strange, honestly. Very strange. Whatever. Turn 11 is still an easy S clear. So there you go. You could build this. Well, if you can build this team, you can build anything like this team. Go. I'll even show you the other team that I had built. So if I call up this team, oops, not that team. This was the original team that I had built. This team actually can do it, but this team is using older units that many of you probably actually do have. This team though was like on the edge, like if RNG was not just right, you wouldn't make it. So this is not quite as clean of a team, but this is definitely another option for you guys. And it just shows you there's multiple builds you can do here to kind of win. But you notice we still have Otaro and we still have Reveria. They're like perfect. You gotta have them in sync. They work so well for this. So good luck to you guys if you can S clear it. Maybe I've given you guys some clues. This has been a ton of fun. I appreciate everybody for hanging in there because some of these builds were not exactly the easiest to pull off. And thanks to everyone on the live stream earlier tonight that helped us finalize our builds for the other team that I was showing you just a moment ago. But for now, that is going to be the video. Like, comment, share. I'm going to be back at you guys with more Danmachi. We got the Before You Summon video coming up here later on tonight.